Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Pensive Piper. Thanks for joining me tonight. I wanted to tell you the story of how I got started smoking a pipe. I'm actually a relatively new pipe smoker. I've only been in the hobby since about October of 2019. So for those of you doing the math out there, that's only about 7 months ago. But I've really gotten into it. I've really kind of been bitten by the bug, so to speak. And it's something that I've just enjoyed immensely, getting to learn the different techniques, the different types of pipes, the different tobaccos. But it was a little bit of an unexpected journey for me. So late last year, we got invited to judge a marching band show in the western part of Michigan. My wife and I have some friends that are band directors that live on the western part of the state, and I'm a professional drummer by trade for the United States Army, and so judging is a big part of my something that I do. It's another hobby of mine, right? And so you get to judge, you make a little bit of money, but mainly you're given a lot of great feedback to students and staffs of these marching bands at these competitions. So it's a great way to for me to kind of stay involved in the activity and give back. And my wife was the drum major of her college marching band, Western Michigan. So anyway, we got invited to go judge this marching band show, and we stayed in our friend's office. And as we were packing up our things, I just happened to notice that he had a rack of pipes. He had like maybe a rack with 3 or 4 different pipes on it, and it really caught my attention. I've traditionally been somebody that would smoke a cigar a couple times a year, maybe the occasional cigarette if I'm out in an establishment and I've had some beverages and just want to be social, but I wouldn't have even considered myself a smoker, really. Heck, I almost still don't. I mean, pipe smoking is really an art form. But anyway, we were packing up our things, and I noticed this rack of pipes, and so I asked him about it. I said, "Hey man, I didn't know that you smoke pipes." And he goes, "Yeah, I've been doing it on and off for a long time, for several years. My dad actually has been smoking a pipe for 50 years." And I was really intrigued by that. So we started kind of talking about it as we were packing up our things and getting ready to go. And he could tell that I was really interested. He had piqued my interest. And my wife and I were getting ready to, like I said, we were leaving, but we were getting ready to head up to Mackinac Island, which is a really beautiful spot. It sits right in between the upper and lower peninsulas of Michigan. And it's a really historic area, a lot of great traditions in the shipping industry, a lot of Great Lakes maritime traditions up that way. And if you didn't know, Mackinac Island also, they have no cars allowed on the island at all, except for an ambulance and like a police vehicle. But everything else is done with horses, so they have horse-drawn carriages. You know, tourists go there, of course, but it's a really charming place. If you've never been there, never heard of it, I recommend checking it out. My wife and I try to go up there maybe once a year just to kind of get away for a few days and enjoy the quiet and the relaxation and the sounds of the Straits of Mackinac, the water kind of coming up onto the beach there on Mackinac Island. So as we're getting ready to pack up, he asked me, he says, you know, if I were to give you a little starter kit for pipe smoking, would that be something that you're interested in? And I, of course, said, absolutely, I'm all about it. So he ran inside and he put together a little bit of a starter kit. And what he gave me was an empty pickle jar like this. It had been cleaned out, of course, but he gave me a jar, and inside the jar, he had given me a little bit of pouch of tobacco, maybe an ounce or so. It was actually Sutliff Creme Brulee. Now, I didn't know any better, but I thought that tobacco smelled absolutely incredible, and it does. It's really, really tasty, and it smells just incredible. And he gave me this. So this is a Missouri Meerschaum. It's like a mini cob, right? Now I didn't know any better. I didn't even really realize just how small this pipe was until I got my own pipes at home. But he gave me this little Missouri Meerschaum cob, some pipe cleaners, and he gave me a little pin that you would hang a picture on to use as a tamper. I think that's all he could find. You know, he was just kind of throwing something together for me. And he gave me a little box of matches, and he said, "Man, Mackinac Island is the perfect place to try to smoke this pipe." And so my wife and I, we got on the road. We made it up there. We're sitting in our room, and it's right along the water, right on the Straits of Mackinac, and it's quiet. You can hear the birds. You can hear the waves coming up onto the beach, and I'm out on our balcony of our hotel room, and I'm trying to learn how to smoke this pipe, right? So I loaded it up. I tried to light it, and it didn't go very well at all. It's actually pretty terrible. Obviously, user error, and I've learned some things since then that if I could go back, I'm sure it would be a much more enjoyable experience now. First of all, the Sutliff Creme Brulee was like the goopiest and the wettest tobacco still to this day that I've ever tried to smoke. It was really wet, and I didn't know that. So I was trying to light it, wasn't working. But I wanted to get it right. So I hopped on YouTube and I started looking for videos, and I stumbled upon Mutton Chop Piper. And he's got a really incredible how-to series that was like life-changing for me, because I mean, he basically taught me how to smoke a pipe from step one, all the little details and all the things that go into it. So if you haven't checked out Mutton Chop Piper's how-to series, you definitely should. It's really incredible stuff, and big thank you to him for being a mentor for me in my pipe smoking journey, and I still refer back to his videos often, and others, of course. And so that really kind of got me started down the wormhole of the YouTube pipe community, and really got me into pipe smoking, because it was something that I wanted to do well and something that I wanted to get better at, because I could see the potential and the enjoyment of sitting out on a night like this and enjoying a bowl of your favorite leaf in a great pipe, and all that goes along with that. So that's how I got started, and from there I was really just maniacal about my pursuit of learning about the art of pipe smoking. So I came back, we got back home, I smoked the rest of that Sutliff Creme Brulee in my miniature corncob pipe. But the very first chance I got, I went and visited my local tobacconist. I was looking on, my phone, looking up places I could go, and I went to a couple spots nearby my home, and I went in, and the places I went were more of like the hookah, maybe wacky tobacco shop kind of places, not necessarily like a cigar or pipe tobacco establishment. And I didn't know any better, so I went in and I'm asking these guys, about pipes. They had no clue, man. Not any idea what they were talking about, and that became pretty apparent to me right away. They did sell a couple of Cadre blends. They had a pack of Prince Albert, so I kind of felt bad because I had been taking up some of this guy's time talking to him in the store. So I bought a pouch of Prince Albert, and I brought it back, and right away I noticed that it was a lot easier to smoke than that Sutliff Creme Brulee. And I eventually found a place called the Old Virginia Tobacco Company that's about a mile from my house. And I took a visit to their shop. I stopped in, and those guys were amazing. Right away I knew I had found the right place for my tobacco needs and to get some information. So they were selling Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipes, and so I bought one. Of course, it's this guy right here. Now when I bought it, it had just a black stem, just the classic black stem, but you can see this was what I consider to be my very first real pipe. And this thing still smokes incredibly well, and I put a lot of bowls into this thing. I've had some friends smoke it as well. And so this was my first one, and I picked up a couple of their house blends. Well, I actually found out later that they're actually some of the Lane stuff I said, man, I said, I don't know what I'm doing here, guys. So, you know, give me some recommendations. And they said, oh, you got to try this blend. It's called Checkmate. It's our #1 seller. And that's really what we sell the most of. So we'll, you know, try this. Turns out it's Lane 1Q, which is like one of the best-selling pipe tobaccos in the whole world. But I tried some of that, and I smoked it in my new full-size Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipe, and incredible. And so since then, I've been really exploring. I've bought a bunch more pipes. I've tried many different kinds of blends. I've picked up a lot of little tricks and some information along the way from people like you in the YouTube community, and my friends, the guys over at the Old Virginia Tobacco Company. But it's really been a lot of fun to learn about this hobby and learn about what goes into it. So that's going to wrap up my story for today. So if you liked the content, if you like chatting with me, just be sure to give the video a like, hit the subscribe button. I'm learning as I go with this YouTube thing, really trying to make my content interesting, make it accessible. But if you're somebody that's maybe new to pipe smoking, or you're an intermediate pipe smoker, as Mutton Chop Piper would say, follow along with me. Or if you're an advanced pipe smoker, I really want to get feedback from everybody in the community. I want to learn about the different blends, what you like, what you don't like, what kind of pipes that you gravitate towards. Right now, I've got 6 briars and I've got 4 corn cobs, and I'm constantly adding to my collection. My wife wants to kill me every month because I buy a new pipe. But hey, it's something that I have really grown to love, and I look forward to the rest of the journey. So join me next time. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about yet, but we'll figure it out as we go. Until next time, take care, guys.